I'm truly honored to have you here, not just because you clicked play, but because something inside you is seeking clarity. Maybe you're tired of the noise in your head, the pressure in your chest when life hits too hard, or that silent war you fight when you wake up each morning and face a world that doesn't feel like it's on your side. Maybe you're not looking for motivation, you're looking for survival. You're looking for something that cuts deeper than fake smiles and shallow quotes. You're here because something inside you is breaking and something deeper is ready to rise. This video isn't just a routine, it's not background noise, it's not another feel-good moment to get lost in. No, this is your mirror. This is your ritual. It's the sound you play when the world feels too loud. It's the anchor when your chest is tight and your mind won't shut up. These aren't just words, they're battle lines carved into your soul. And every time you play this, it's a reminder that your mornings are not a punishment. They're a reset, a rebirth, a resurrection. Because I know what it feels like to wake up and feel like you're already losing. Before your feet even hit the floor, you're already drowning. You open your eyes, and there's a war waiting. No one sees it. No one claps when you fight it. But you fight anyway. You smile when you're hollow. You function when you're breaking. And that kind of strength, it deserves more than just noise. It deserves truth. It deserves armor. The Stoics didn't write from peace. They wrote from pain. They didn't preach from stages, they whispered from prisons. They didn't post perfect pictures, they scribbled desperate thoughts to survive the storm inside their skull. They didn't speak to the world, they spoke to themselves. Because when you're bleeding on the inside and no one notices, the only voice that can save you is your own. And that's what this is, a voice to remember who you are, before the world told you who to be. Seneca once said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." But if you've ever stared at the ceiling with your heart racing over things that haven't even happened, if you've ever been paralyzed by thoughts you can't control, dreams you can't reach, or people you can't forget, then you know those imagined storms feel just as real, sometimes worse. I've lost mornings to that madness. I've lied in bed, fully awake, but too wrecked to rise. I've heard the noise. I've felt the panic crawl under my skin like fire ants. I've smiled through days that felt like I was choking on glass. And that's why this matters. Because from this moment on, your mornings are no longer battlegrounds. They are for building, for rising, for sharpening your soul into something unbreakable. These 7 truths I'm about to speak, they aren't affirmations. They're weapons, cold steel for the mind, fire for the spirit. And if you say them every day, not just with your mouth, but with your soul, your entire world will begin to shift. Not because the world changes, but because you do. So don't just listen. Feel this. Imagine standing in front of a cracked mirror, eye to eye with the version of you that's tired of pretending to be fine. Let this be the moment your reflection starts to change. Let this be the first morning you don't run from yourself, but face yourself, fully, brutally, honestly. And when it hurts, good. That means it's real. Like, comment, subscribe, share this with someone who's spiraling silently. But most of all, say this with me and type it below like your life depends on it. Each morning, I rise with power, not panic. Because that sentence is not a quote. It's your new identity. Let's begin. Number 1. I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. Some mornings hit you like a ghost you never invited. No storm, no lightning, just a silent ache in your chest. A heaviness that doesn't come with a name. It's not sadness, it's not rage. It's something colder, something that drags itself across your spirit like chains on concrete. And when it comes, your mind starts whispering poison, telling you you're broken, that you're nothing but scars in human skin, that you'll always be stuck, trapped in the rerun of your worst nights, your ugliest choices, your deepest regrets, that no matter how much you try, your past already wrote your ending. But let me tell you something that'll shake that lie to its core. You are not what happened to you. You are what you choose to become. Read that again. Say it out loud. Burn it into the back of your mind until it roars louder than your doubts. Because the version of you who tolerated disrespect, who gave love to cowards, who stayed loyal to betrayal, that person was in survival mode. That wasn't weakness. That was you choosing to breathe in a world trying to suffocate you. That was resilience dressed in silence. Epictetus, the man who was born a slave but died a master of his own fate, said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Life will throw its chaos, its unfairness, its betrayals like daggers. But it's how you respond that writes the real story. Every time you look in that mirror and whisper, 'No,' scream, 'I am what I choose to become,' you tear down the prison bars that your past tried to lock around your future. It's not easy. Rebuilding yourself from ruins never is. It's a war, a brutal one. It takes madness to look at your wreckage and still believe you can rise. It takes a wild kind of hope to believe that the pain didn't come to destroy you. It came to wake you the hell up, to strip away the noise and show you what you're made of. You're not made of excuses. You're made of storms. And even if life scribbled chaos all over your first chapters, you still hold the pen. You still have time to set the page on fire. So say it. Say it when you feel like crawling back into numbness. Say it when your hands shake from the weight of your memories. Say it through gritted teeth when your voice trembles. I choose who I become. And say it like your soul is listening, because it is. Because the second you choose power over pity, growth over guilt, healing over hiding, you stop being a victim of what happened and become a warrior of what's possible. This is how you reclaim your name. This is how you stop bleeding for people who never deserved to touch your heart. This is how you break the chains, burn the script, and write your next chapter in fire and truth. So if you're ready, say it now. Say it like your future depends on it. I choose who I become, starting this morning. Number 2. I don't control the storm. I only control my response. You wake up and the chaos doesn't knock. It kicks the door in. Your phone lights up like a battlefield. Deadlines, messages, expectations clawing at you before your feet even touch the floor. People pulling from every direction like you're the lifeline to their drowning. And somewhere inside your chest, there's that silent panic. Fix it all. Control it all. Make it all stop before it crashes. You try to grip everything with white-knuckled hands. People's moods, outcomes, time itself. Like if you let go for 1 second, it all burns. But here's the cost of that mindset. It'll crush you. Slowly. Quietly. Until you forget what peace ever felt like. Until your soul starts choking under the weight of things you were never meant to carry. The Stoics didn't promise comfort. They promised clarity, and they carved that clarity through fire. Marcus Aurelius, who carried an empire on his shoulders, wrote words most people today are too distracted to hear. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Let that sink in. Not over the storm, not over betrayal, not over death, delay, or disappointment. just the mind. That's your battlefield. That's your only throne. You don't control the storm. You only control your response. Say it like it's armor. Say it like a vow. Because when the storm hits, and it will, you won't stop the winds. You won't silence the noise. But you don't need to. Your power isn't in taming the chaos. Your power is in not becoming it. Let people twist themselves into knots trying to control everything. Let them burn out chasing perfection. But you stand tall like a blade pulled from the ashes. You let the storm pass through without letting it pull you under. That's not weakness. That's warrior stillness. That's the kind of control no one can take from you. You don't owe the world your peace. You owe it to yourself to protect it like a sacred fire. Let the market crash. Let the weather rage. Let the voices scream. But your center, untouched. Your breath, measured. Your mind, a fortress of discipline. And while they react, you respond. While they drown, you float. While they panic, you watch. That's not coldness, it's command. That's not apathy, it's awareness sharpened by fire. You're not the wind, you're the mountain. You're not here to chase peace. You're here to become it. To breathe like a monk in a riot. To walk like thunder in the middle of noise. To remind the storm that you were built in worse. And you didn't just survive, you came out cleaner, quieter, sharper. So the next time the world tries to pull you into its madness, whisper it through your soul. I don't control the storm. I only control my response. That's not a quote. It's a way of life. A vow to never let the world make you forget who you are. Number 3. Not everyone deserves access to my peace. Some mornings you open your eyes and the dread is already sitting there, quiet, invisible, but heavy. You haven't even spoken a word, and yet your mind is already rehearsing the conversations that will drain you, the ones with fake smiles, sugar-coated jabs, and people who smile with their mouths but stab with their silence. It's like your soul already knows who's coming to take more than they give. And yet, somehow, some way, you still let them in. You let them circle your peace like vultures. You let them walk through your thoughts with muddy shoes, tracking their chaos across the floor of your spirit. Why? Habit? Guilt? Some false sense of duty that says, keep the peace while yours gets shattered? No, that ends here. Because your peace is not public property. Your calm is not a vending machine for ungrateful souls. What you've built inside yourself, the silence, the healing, the inner stillness, that's sacred ground. That's earned, not given. And it should never be handed over like loose change to people who spit on it and call it weakness. The Stoics weren't heartless, they were wise. They didn't cut people off out of cruelty. They practiced detachment because they knew the weight of emotional exposure. The more open you are to chaos, the more divorced you become from clarity. They chose their circles like warriors choose their weapons, carefully, intentionally, with no room for dead weight. Seneca once said, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." But that line isn't just poetic, it's a scalpel. Because when you hear it, really hear it, you'll start seeing the truth in your own life. Most people aren't companions, they're distractions, not mirrors, but masks, not builders, but burners, lighting fires in your mind and watching you choke on the smoke of their drama, their indecision, their fake loyalty. So when you look yourself in the mirror and say, "Not everyone deserves access to my peace," you are not being cold. You are reclaiming territory that has been invaded too many times. You are locking the door that should have been guarded years ago. You are declaring to the world and to yourself that your peace is not free range. It is earned through respect, trust, and presence. And if someone can't bring calm, they have no business interrupting yours. You do not owe anyone your breakdown. You do not owe anyone explanations for your silence. You are not a doormat for guilt. You are not a reservoir for emotional leeches who only call when they need to unload. And you don't have to keep watering friendships that grow thorns instead of roots. Let them wither. Let them fall. Let the dead weight drop so your soul can breathe again. Yes, you owe the world kindness, but not your peace. That belongs to you. That's your sanctuary, your temple, and anyone who enters it should come with clean hands and a clear heart. From now on, let them earn your energy. Let them qualify for your attention. Let them show they can hold your peace without dropping it. Say this every morning like it's scripture carved into your bones. Not everyone deserves access to my peace. Say it until it echoes louder than the guilt, until your spirit believes it, until your life becomes too quiet, too sacred, too powerful for chaos to call itself welcome. Number 4. Today, I refuse to betray myself for approval. There's a betrayal that doesn't leave bruises, one that doesn't scream in your face, but whispers behind your decisions. You feel it every time you silence your truth just to keep someone comfortable, every time you fake a smile when your insides are begging to scream, every time you water yourself down so someone else can feel tall standing next to you. It doesn't look violent, but it kills something inside you slowly, quietly, one silent compromise at a time. You lose the edge of your spirit, the sharpness of your truth, the voice that once roared and now only whispers. And the worst part? You get good at it. Too good. So good that eventually you don't even notice the betrayal. You call it being nice, being liked, keeping the peace. But really, it's self-abandonment in disguise. And that ends now. Because today, you do not shrink. You do not bend so far backward you forget your own shape. You do not nod in agreement when your soul is screaming, no. You do not adjust your truth just to fit into someone else's fragile expectations. You weren't born to blend, you were born to burn. To stand tall in the storm of opinions, even when the winds try to push you into someone you're not. And if you keep betraying yourself just to be wanted, just to avoid conflict, just to be labeled easy to love, you'll end up surrounded, yet empty. Known, but not seen. Wanted, but never respected. That's not Stoicism. That's surrender. Stoicism doesn't ask you to rebel. It demands that you remain. To remain rooted. To remain aligned. To remain firm in who you are, even if the world throws stones at your silence. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." And that is not just philosophy. That's fire. That's a code. That means integrity over attention. That means truth over comfort. That means alignment over applause. Because every time you choose validation over values, you lose yourself. And every time you betray yourself for a cheap seat at someone's table, you forget you could have built your own throne. So when you stand in front of the mirror tomorrow morning, don't just whisper it, roar it. Let your reflection know that today you're not negotiating your soul for acceptance. Say it so loud your doubt has no room to speak. Today, I refuse to betray myself for approval. Let it echo through your choices. Let it guide your silence when pressured to lie. Let it hold your ground when the world tries to reshape you, because you don't need to be liked by everyone. That's not strength, that's slavery. You need to be respected by the one person you can't run from, the soul staring back at you. Speak it like a vow, carry it like a sword, and if the world tries to bend you, snap back harder. Because approval fades, applause dies. But the strength that comes from living in truth, that builds a legacy even silence can't erase. Number 5. Every challenge I face today is sharpening me, not breaking me. You don't wake up into comfort. You wake up into war. Before your feet hit the floor, life's already throwing punches. Doubts from yesterday still clinging to your chest like a phantom. Responsibilities screaming for your attention. And an invisible pressure reminding you don't get to rest yet. You check your phone and the chaos is waiting. People want answers. Problems want solutions. And you just wanted peace for 5 minutes. But life doesn't hand you peace. It hands you resistance. And it asks, what are you going to do with it? Most people break under that weight. They curse the sky. They beg for a pause. They ask the soft question, why me? But not you, not anymore. Because the moment you choose the Stoic path, you tear that question from your throat and throw it into the fire. You stop asking why me and start asking, how can this shape me? Because deep down you understand, this isn't punishment, it's preparation. This isn't the universe trying to crush you, it's the forge molding you into something indestructible. Epictetus once said, difficulties are things that show a person what they are. And that's not just a quote, it's a revelation. It means the pain clawing at you today is not your enemy. It's your mirror. It's the raw spotlight exposing what's real in you. The world sees what you do under pressure, but the pressure itself sees who you are. And when the noise gets louder, when your plans fall apart, when betrayal hits you in the back, and your hands are still bleeding from carrying burdens that were never yours to begin with, you don't fold, you don't beg, you breathe, you clench your jaw, and you whisper through gritted teeth, every challenge is sharpening me, not breaking me. Think about a blade, not a kitchen knife, not some dull ornament, a weapon, a tool of war. It doesn't gain its edge in silence. It gets sharpened by fire, by pressure, by the unrelenting grind of stone against steel. That screaming friction, that unbearable tension, that's what gives it power. That's what gives it teeth. And that's what life is doing to you right now. Grinding you, testing you, screaming into your bones, not to break you, but to shape you into something deadly, something fierce, something unstoppable. So if your morning feels heavy, good. That means life is writing something powerful into your spirit. That means you're being carved into someone no weakness can touch. Because pressure doesn't destroy the worthy, it reveals them. And when you walk through fire long enough, you stop fearing the burn. You start welcoming it. Let the pressure come. Let it stack. Let it suffocate you if it dares. And then let your will explode through it. Let the pain forge something vicious inside you. Let the doubts fuel your discipline. Let the betrayals spark your ruthlessness. Let the setbacks cut you into something sharper, harder, more precise than the world has ever seen. Don't just survive the pain. Become something terrifying because of it. Rise. And when life thinks it's done beating you, show it your scars and say, that was the best you had? Because this right here is your sharpening season, your time in the fire. And when you come out the other side, you won't just be stronger, you'll be unbreakable. Number 6. I control how I show up, not how others receive me. You've done everything, bent until your spine cracked just to keep the peace, watered yourself down to fit into spaces that never had the depth to hold you. You've explained your truth to people who weren't even listening, watching their eyes glaze over while your soul screamed for clarity. You've given your silence when you wanted to speak, spoken when you should have walked away. And yet, they still got it wrong. They twisted your words into weapons. They turned your patience into passivity. They saw your stillness and labeled it guilt. Your kindness, they spat on it like it was weakness. And somehow, you're the villain in stories you never agreed to be part of. And it burns. It tears at your insides like fire behind the ribs, because you weren't trying to be perfect. You were just trying to be good, just trying to love without playing games, just trying to bring clarity to a world addicted to chaos. And still, you got misunderstood. And here's the part that'll wreck you if you're not careful. You will be misunderstood by the very people you would have bled for. You will be misread, misquoted, and mistaken. And if you let that consume you, it will rot the peace right out of your spirit. But then, something shifts. Something inside you snaps, not out of rage, but out of resurrection. You stop begging to be seen. You stop shrinking to be liked. You stop bleeding just to keep someone else's conscience clean. Because suddenly, with bone-deep clarity, you understand the most liberating truth you'll ever carry. You are not responsible for how they receive you. You never were. That was never your cross to carry. Your only job, the only war you're meant to fight, is how you show up. Your part is this: clean heart, solid back, straight spine, unshakable voice, aligned action. That's your offering to this world. That's your peace. You don't manipulate their perception. You master your presence. You show up with truth in your tone and purpose in your footsteps. That's it. That's everything. The rest? The whispers behind closed doors, the ones who think silence is guilt, the ones who leave and still blame you for the fire they lit. Let them talk. Let them misunderstand. Let them choke on their assumptions. Because the Stoic doesn't waste breath chasing ghosts in someone else's mind. The Stoic knows where the battlefield ends and the inner sanctuary begins. Marcus Aurelius said it like lightning through the dark. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. And that's not just philosophy. That's survival. That's how you protect your energy in a world that profits from confusion. You stop handing out explanations like discounts. You stop offering clarity to those who don't even deserve your noise. So you wake up each morning and wear this like armor over your chest. I control how I show up, not how others receive me. That sentence, it's your shield. It's your compass. It's the line in the sand between self-respect and self-destruction. Because you don't owe anyone the choreography of your soul. You don't have to prove your value to people who couldn't see gold if it screamed in their face. You don't have to justify your silence to ears that never heard you even when you roared. You show up clean. You speak like fire wrapped in truth. You carry yourself with the calm of a storm that's already survived its breaking point. And then you let go. You release the rope. You watch the illusion of control slip from your hands like dust, and you don't chase it. You rise above it. Let them gossip. Let them judge. Let them throw their projections into the wind and call it truth. It doesn't touch you, because your worth doesn't beg. Your peace doesn't chase. And your soul, your unshakable, risen, battle-hardened soul, no longer craves their approval. It only answers to one thing now: discipline. Discipline of the mind. Discipline of the spirit. Discipline of self. And that's where your freedom lives. Number 7. No one owes me peace. I create it, keep it, and protect it. Stop, breathe, and burn the delusion right now. Nobody is coming to hand you peace like a gentle gift wrapped in validation. The world doesn't care how heavy your heart feels or how long you've cried in silence. It won't stop spinning just because your soul shattered quietly last night. And the truth is brutal, but freeing. Peace isn't found. It's forged in the middle of your breakdown when no one's watching, when your voice is shaking, and you still choose not to scream. You will rot inside situationships, begging to be understood. You will twist your own heart, trying to fix people who never even cared they broke you. You will bend over backward so many times, you'll forget what standing tall even feels like. And through it all, your soul will whisper, "This isn't where peace lives. This is where you die slowly, because peace doesn't knock on the door. Peace doesn't say sorry. Peace doesn't show up. We drag it out of the fire, broken-fingered, blood-eyed, uninvited, and we build it, alone, with rage and clarity. You keep waiting, for closure, for justice, for the world to finally hug you back. But here's the sick truth. Closure is a luxury the strong learn to live without. You'll never get the apology. You'll never hear them say, "You were right." And once that breaks you enough times, you either drown in that void, or you rise from it with iron lungs and a voice that no longer trembles when it says, "I don't need your peace. I built my own." Epictetus wasn't playing when he said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life." He wasn't talking about soft sunsets and quiet mornings. He was talking about inner rebellion, about the war inside your head, about the rage that says, "I will no longer be a prisoner to things I can't control." That's where peace is born, not in comfort, but in chaos, in the stillness you create while the world tries to tear you apart. Tomorrow morning, when your eyelids lift and the weight of your past presses against your ribs again, don't wait for someone to make it easier. Don't beg for gentleness from people who weaponize your softness. Don't wait for your enemies to fall in love with your truth. Build your peace like a fortress. Guard it like it's a loaded weapon. Protect it like it's your child. Because it is. It's yours. No one else gets to touch it. Not after what you've survived. And you better say it like thunder, like fire ripping through silence. No one owes me peace. I create it, keep it, and protect it. Say it until it echoes through your bones. Say it until the guilt cracks and the people-pleasing burns out. Say it until the ghosts you used to chase stop following you because they know you've finally locked the door. This isn't detachment. This is clarity with a blade in its teeth. This isn't bitterness. This is you rising from the ashes they buried you in. You're not the guest anymore. You are the sanctuary. You are the silence they can't poison. You are the calm that came from collapse. You are the storm that chose peace and never asked again. Because once you stop expecting peace from chaos, you become untouchable. If even one sentence in this storm crawled into your bones, if even one word cracked your silence and made your soul clench, then this isn't just another video. This is your call to war. Your war against numb mornings, against the endless cycle of overthinking, overgiving and underliving, against everything and everyone that told you to shrink to be loved. This is a ritual now. This is your rebellion dressed in discipline. Every single morning, before the world poisons your peace, look yourself in the eyes like you owe yourself a goddamn resurrection. Speak to the mirror like it's your last confession. Speak life into your silence. Speak fire into your lungs. Because the world's loud. People will try to gaslight your worth. Life will throw knives, lies, fake smiles, silent betrayals, and shattered moments at you like it's testing your last nerve. And in the middle of all that madness, your only weapon is the voice you speak into yourself. Let these truths become your armor. Let these reminders become your code, your sword, your shield. Say them like war cries. Say them like gospel. Say them until your fears choke on your certainty. You don't need permission to be powerful. You don't need closure to start healing. You don't need peace from others to build peace inside. You are no longer waiting. You are waking. You are no longer hoping they had their chance. Now it's your time. Time to rise, like hell can't hold you. Time to choose silence over chaos. Time to protect your energy like it's gold and burn every bridge that ever led you to self-abandonment. And if this message hit somewhere deeper than words can reach, if your demons flinched and your heart stood still for a second, then you already know what to do. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Not for vanity, but because this kind of truth needs a home. This kind of fire needs to spread. You don't just support the channel, you build the army. An army of awakened, untouchable and unshakable souls who choose peace over performance, self-respect over validation, solitude over selling themselves short. Because peace isn't a destination you arrive at when life finally decides to be kind. Peace is a daily decision, a violent one, to wake up, to show up, to hold your own hand, to cut off anything that disrupts your inner empire. So starting tomorrow, before your feet even hit the floor, say this to yourself like it's law. I owe no one my peace. I build it. I bleed for it. I guard it with fire. That's not motivation. That's your new blood type.